Hello, Rebecca here on day 10 of 100 pounds of weight loss by Linda Spangle. I'm following the book, not not minutely, but general. And I apologize for yesterday. I had such a hard time getting the video up, and also I'm going to be honest with you. I had a hard time with that topic because it really wasn't relevant to me. I don't know if it, for some people it might have been, but I'm just at that age where, I'm probably me, myself, and I, and of course my husband and my dog, but everyone else, just runs independently from me. That's been the hardest part. I had a message from my cousin earlier this week about her youngest just went to graduated from high school, and she's going to college now, and that's her last one. And she's a little bit older than I am, and she's like, "What do I do? Where do I go?" And I just remember that 7 years ago when my youngest son graduated from high school. It was really hard. It was very painful. I still go through it at times because you're running 90 to nothing and taking care of the kids and taking care of the husband, and suddenly here you are, you got this empty nest, and what do you do with that when everyone has associated you as Johnny's mom, Troy's mom, Nick's mom? You've always just been going and going and going, and now it's your turn. And what does your turn look like? What do you do? We've had a lot of moving around, so we've had a lot of neat adventures over the last couple of years, but it's also been training. And I still feel like, what do I do? Where's my purpose? And then when Troy died last year, it's even more pronounced. It's what do I do? Where's my purpose? How do I go on? How do I move on from, you have a lot of setbacks in your life, and it's how you deal with them and how you get through them. But when a child dies, I'm still trying to figure it out, because it's like you can't even imagine not to see your child, talk to him, especially when he just hadn't developed his full wings yet. Apparently he has in heaven now, but it's really hard. So when you have setbacks, where do you go from there? When you have setbacks on your diet, well, you get up the next morning and you say, today I'm going to do better. When something else happens, your children, graduate and they go on, it's not necessarily a setback. It's everything that you've been working towards, is to create humans that will be productive in the big world. So there's a lot of anxiousness about it, but it's also a breaking of an 18, 20-year-old habit that you've had of taking care of your kids. You still take care of them, but in a different way. So I was really relating to her on this kind of this letdown now, is where do we go from here? And that's been the question that I've been asking myself through this whole process this last year. And this is why this book, The 100 Days of Weight Loss, really attracted me to be more accountable to myself and to really see who I am, get to know me all over again, because quite frankly I'm different, and I want to succeed at something. As I said earlier at the very first vlog that I did, that I want to do something different, but I want to achieve a goal, and I am. I'm exercising daily, and pardon my hair because I just got out of exercise class. I want to be proud, but one of the things that I was thinking about, and I don't know if I remember if I shared this or not, is back in February of 2015, I started losing weight. I was going to really lose weight, and I had my niece who was going to be accountable to me, and she was great and everything. And I had just gotten to about 40, maybe 45 pounds off, and I was just exercising and counting calories and doing the right stuff. And then when Troy died, my world just fell apart. And where do you go from there? Well, my diet was the last thing that I was worried about. But during that time, from July of last year to February of this year, and then later on to May, I've been wrestling with the same 10 pounds. So the victory for me is that in the past I would have gained all that weight back, and then some. And this time I didn't. I gained 10 pounds, and pushed it to 15 and 10. But for basically the last year, I've been trying to just get that 10 pounds off to get on with the next goal weight. And so instead of being really frustrated about it, I turned around one day. It's something that I read recently, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's a victory for me, that I did not completely lose sight of myself, and that I actually kept most of that weight off, and now I'm going down again. So, we have to say hurrah for those small victories, and the people in my life have been very supportive of that. And yesterday we talked about, what it is that we need from people that that can help us in our weight loss. And one of the things today is that it's not just what we need, it's how we receive also. And so how do we receive a compliment? When somebody says, oh, you're looking good, are you losing weight? How do we receive that? Do we receive, as opposed to, did you think I was really fat before? Instead of just taking it in the nature that it was intended, instead of, thinking for some sort of ulterior, or want to go, oh yeah, but I got so much more to go. I'll thank you, but I lost 10 pounds, so I have 100 to go. And instead of putting it with a negative back, just say, oh, thank you for noticing. I really appreciate it. It's just the small things. So somebody notices a new outfit. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you noticing it. It makes me feel good. And being gracious and receiving. And there's been times in my life, and especially, like, I hate to keep bringing it up, but last July, it was so hard to say. It's easier to say you're welcome than it is to say thank you. And so I'm trying to be conscious of that, is that, there's a give and take in relationships. And sometimes you're saying thank you a lot, and sometimes you're saying you're welcome a lot. But it comes full circle, and just recognize that in the time of your life, in the season of your life, that you're either saying thank you or you're welcome. And hopefully you have a balance where you have both, where you have good intentions on one side, and don't get your feelings hurt if somebody doesn't say thank you or they don't recognize it, because you just don't really quite grasp the state of mind that they're in when they're going through some really hard times. So with that said, you don't want to bait people either. Like, you put on an outfit, especially if you're putting on an outfit to your spouse, and says, do I look fat in this? You don't want to say things that if you don't really want to know the answer to. So, you have to, again, it's that give and take. Be conscious of what you're asking of your supportive help, and if you're ready to receive whatever it is that they're willing to give. So this has been quite the last 10 days, and 10 days is nothing. I've been on diets 10 days. I've been on diets for months, and but this is the diet that I feel that I'm going to really make it on. And I hope that the diet that you chose is something that you feel really confident on. The other epiphany that I had this morning was that, in the diets before, I don't feel that they address emotional eating. And we're just always consumed with, the numbers on the scale, the numbers of calories we're taking. Everything has to deal with numbers. And I have found that in the past, when I was on different diets, and then you get to have all these different recipes that are Weight Watcher friendly, or this friendly, or that, and I had decided that I didn't want to have to learn how to cook something else, because to me it was mimicking something that I had lost. So I didn't want to do that. I thought, if I'm going to go on a diet, I'm just going to learn something totally new. What I learned today was something totally new, is that I'm going to learn how to do a whole new way of cooking. to make me successful. And just the same triggers that I have with real food, filled with all the garbage, as opposed to making something clean or eating, that I feel that those triggers are still going to be there. So to really watch my calories and my exercise and everything, it's all one thing. Watch my head, my body, my intake, it all goes into one. But I'm not afraid to learn a new way of cooking, because right now I am learning a new way of eating and a new way of living. And so with that comes new recipes and a new mindset. And that was my thing today, that I was really excited to go. Don't be afraid to learn how to cook differently, but also be aware of the triggers that you might have with a low-calorie cheesecake as you do with a high-calorie cheesecake or with ice cream. I can pretty much guarantee that I won't be making any donuts anytime soon, no matter how clean they get. Although I have a hard time thinking clean donut in one sentence. But anyway, we've made it 10 days. And we have 90 more to go. So how exciting is that? And as a side note, I've lost 9 pounds. So I'm really excited. And my dogs are really playing right now, so pardon the noise level. But hope you have a good day, and I'm just sorry that I've been struggling with the YouTube videos lately. I'm learning, because seriously, I'm kind of a tech tard. I think these electronic things don't come real easy to me. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.